We're in Paris.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're here on the ski lift. Woo!
Oh yeah, brother.
Hell yeah, brother. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Looking to hit a red.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again, because a vision softly creeping left its seeds while I was sleeping, and the vision.
So we're here for a week with a few friends of ours, and as you can see, I got us all little ears. Look at Amy's. Jingle jangle. Yeah, we're here for a week. We're gonna hit a few different places. This is the hill by our Airbnb we're staying at. We're staying at a chalet, but we're having a great time.
This is where we all came from. The dreams we have, the love we share. This is what we're waiting for. And in my mind, in my head, this is where we all came from. The dreams we have, the love we share. This is what we're waiting for.
We did a whole bunch of skiing this past week. I was here with Amy and four of our friends, and we did skiing near our Airbnb, which was a ski in, ski out. It was at the Savoy Grand Rivard over in France, and we also skied all three of the valleys in Les Trois Vallées. So it was a very incredible experience, and each different ski area had their own benefits. Now, by our Airbnb, it was super beginner friendly and a very small place to ski. And, it was like a 2-minute drive or a 10-minute walk from where Airbnb was. So that definitely made it very appealing for our first day of skiing when we were still getting into it and just, trying to get the ropes down. But, towards the end, we started going to resorts with more and more difficult paths to ski. And I definitely think one of the things to look out for when you're booking a place to stay here, if you decide to come skiing here, is, some of the resorts, some of the ski areas, they don't really have beginner-friendly trails. So that's definitely something to look out for. But if you plan on skiing at the Three Valleys, Courchevel is definitely the most beginner-friendly one. They have probably about like 50% of their trails are greens or blues, and they do have some more advanced ones, but not as much as some other areas. And Maribel is also part of the Three Valleys. It has a lot of different fun runs too, and it has very significant scenery. And something I remember, which I thought was cool, is you can go on up both mountains on the side of the valleys, and you can see into Val Thorens and also into Courchevel. And we went up to one of the ridge with one of our friends, and he almost skied into the other resort, which would have been really bad because even though, it's a 20-minute lift right up or something to the top of the mountain, to drive around to pick someone up there, it takes about 30 to 45 minutes of driving, and you can't just take the lift up from the other side unless you have a Three Valley pass. You would need to buy a completely new pass to come up because all of the different valleys still are different ski resorts. They are just united under the Les Trois Vallées name, but they are still three independent ski resorts with their own independent themes. My favorite one, however, though, is definitely Val Thorens. I definitely think it had more technical elements in the runs and a bit more variety. You know, they had a lot more black runs. There were a lot more moguls. They had some steep descents, a lot of steep descents, some with tight curves, and it was just a bit more fun, I think, for my skill level to do than some of the more beginner-friendly trails. And also, it is the highest elevated ski resort in all of France, so the snow there was a lot better than some of the lower ones like Courchevel or Maribel. But all in all, though, it was a pretty fantastic time, and the views in some of the places are just magnificent.
Secret tunnel through the mountains. Secret tunnel. Yeah.
How was it?
It's good. It's very hard. It's interesting because I know how to ski, but it's very scary to ski on these skis. But I'm really glad I tried it. It's good to do something new. And before today, I never knew what the elliptical prepared you for in life. But now I found that the elliptical prepares you for cross-country skiing.
We're gonna go après hard over here, La Folie Douce. It is, I don't know, you might have seen a TikTok or a video about it, but people come here, they get drunk, and then they get to ski down here. The only way to get down from this bar is skiing down these runs over here.
Have you ever seen someone in a mink coat, knee-high boots, driving a Rolls Royce at the top of a ski mountain? Well, neither have I until I came to ski in France. Something I've learned about the French is that I don't know if they actually know how to ski or if they like to do 1 or 2 runs and have a drink and call it a day. The latter here is a big part of the après culture, which we did partake in one day, but honestly, it's not for me. I like to ski the whole day and, you know, not try to get home drunk at the end of it all.
A lot of people probably view skiing as France as super expensive compared to skiing in the US, just because you're flying all the way over here. It's a longer journey and people think France, oh, some super exotic place. But I would argue that skiing here, if you're coming from the East Coast in the US, is relatively cheaper than if you were to do another ski trip in the US, maybe flying to Denver or Salt Lake City or something like that. Now, the upfront cost, you're probably spending about $700 on a flight if you're flying from New York to Geneva or Paris. And then if you're flying from New York to Denver, you're probably spending $400. So you're saving $300 on flights if you stay in the US. But the lift tickets, this is probably the biggest, like, I gotcha, like, saving moment here. The lift tickets in Europe, or the places we went to, the most expensive one we got was 75 euros, which transfers into about like around 80 US dollars, versus a lift ticket at Vail is a whopping $303, which is insane. Now, we skied at a few smaller ski areas, mostly near where our Airbnb was, and the cheapest that was 25 euros. And if you're skiing at a smaller resort in the US, you're still paying at least $100. So if you extrapolate, you know, going to one of the big resorts in the US versus coming to a big resort here, you're probably saving anywhere between $75 to $125 per day. So if you're doing a 5 days of skiing, week-long trip, going to Europe versus going to the US, you might be saving at least $300 alone on lift tickets. And that's not even mentioning food, which is cheaper here in Europe at the ski resorts. You're spending about like $15 to $25 on food here versus the US, you're spending $20 to $35 on food. And then there's also gear rentals, which in my experience, I rented gear for a week in Salt Lake City, and that ended up costing me about like $230, I think, versus here it was about 112 euros, which, you know, like $120, $125. So the whole point I'm trying to make here is skiing is kind of a ripoff in the US. So maybe you should consider coming to France or Austria or somewhere in Europe.